money to you.
Going straight into our current affairs, you can only imagine, and you can only just imagine the kind of frustration the average South African is going through as the air travel option for a lot of the average travelers is just becoming untenable, if not totally impossible. The Air Services Licensing Council of South Africa, or the ASLC, has stripped more licenses and frequency certificate from Mango, Comair, and SAA, which have been reissued to budding operators flying, including Fly SA Fair. Now, Fly SA Fair announced this week that it had received approval to operate flights to 11 new destinations within the Southern African region, following a meeting of the council. The council took quite a lot of slots from Mango, Comair, and SAA. They all suffered from the same fate because there are no plans to operate the routes. Now, SAA's redistributed licenses and frequencies include what has been triumphantly heralded as flagships by the Fly SA Fair from Cape Town and Johannesburg to Gaborone, Livingston, Luanda, Lusaka, Maputo, and Victoria Falls. In addition, the airline has been approved for frequencies from Johannesburg to Bulawayo, Nairobi, and the Seychelles, as well as between Cape Town and Windhoek. Some of the slots have been awarded to Airlink and other small operators to move cargo and all that. They all gave Lift Airways some routes, like Johannesburg to Durban. All these are SAA routes that have been withdrawn. He said the action was unprecedented in local aviation, but the council was following the letter of the law and redistributing the slots that were not being utilized. Johannesburg Speaker Colin Makhubele is in hot water. The DA Federal Council Chair Helen Zille is suing her for defamation of character. She told one of the publications she feels Makhubele went too far. Zille was accused of trying to get her hands on Joburg's 70 billion rand budget. According to her, she feels like that was said out of turn and is therefore taking that to the courts and to further it in the legal system. Former Joburg Mayor Dr. Mpho Phalatse will be making her way to the police station to open a case against the ANC tomorrow, or today. This after Phalatse accused the ANC and the Johannesburg Property Company of performing transactions worth millions of rands. So, Phalatse was recently ousted as mayor of Joburg following a vote of no confidence. Phalatse and the party she represents, which is the Democratic Alliance, have claimed the ANC seized power unlawfully and vowed to fight for the city via the judicial system and public participation, including a petition. The former Joburg mayor has not disclosed the exact amount of the transaction performed by the ANC and Johannesburg Property Company. Anyhow, it could be that the fine details of her case will be presented at the police station where the criminal charges will be laid. She said, "I've said this before, and I still maintain that there is a court victory alone, which will not only see it restored to a trusted government, there is a political battle to be fought too. A battle to appeal to the senses of political parties who genuinely care about our city and its residents." Phalatse said, when she created a petition seeking signatures to support her battle to save the city from the ANC. She said, we as the DA will focus our attentions on regaining the city of Johannesburg and stop the ANC and their unlawful coalition partners from looting the city a second time and again paying no heed to the needs of the residents. This is currently a developing story. We will definitely keep you in the loop as we find out more and more of how this will unfold. Speaking of those still in hot water, comedians Skhumbuzo Hlophe and Celeste Ntuli have come under fire for failing to disclose that the national lottery operator Ituba paid them for their Twitter promo posts in August. According to a Business Insider, the Advertising Regulatory Board has ruled that both media personalities and Ituba breached the code of South African advertising when the celebrities did not indicate that their tweets were advertised. or in fact that their tweets were adverts. Between the 11th and the 13th of August, the hashtag Know Your National Lottery trended to the #1 spot on Twitter. This was after comedians Kumba and Celeste Ntuli and Skalk Bezedenote posted videos on their individual accounts that sought to illustrate how the money Ituba makes from ticket sales gets distributed. In the campaign, the stars explained that the lottery money supports various charities and that spaza shops and retailers receive commission for the sales they make. According to the campaign, this was a good way to spend R5. So, of the comedians using the hashtag, only Skalk Bezedenote indicated that it is a paid campaign. This was because he used the hashtag ad, and then Celeste, Skumba and Celeste failed to do so. Celeste's tweets has since been deleted. As per the adverts or South Africa's advertising code for social media and influencer marketing and hashtags, advertisement and sponsored content have to include either sponsored or advertisement as a hashtag prior to what they need to pull there. This is in line with all the people now who are aiming at becoming faces of brands and influencers of material and content of that nature. Make sure you know these regulations. There is legislation, and there are regulations around it, and you might find yourself in some hot water if you don't get that right. These are words to live by. Of course, you can learn by the mistakes of others. The Home Affairs Department has abandoned its bid to stop the life partner of musician Ricardo Ricky Rick Makado from being appointed executor of the estate. The department was opposed to Bianca Naidu being recognized as his legal wife. Naidu, his partner of 9 years and the mother of Makado's children, has sought to prove that their union was equivalent to a marriage, and she was recognized by both their families. Makado, popularly known as Ricky Rick, died in February this year. Without a will, the master of the court has had to determine an executor for Makado's estate. Naidu has sought to take that position uncontested by Makado's family, but their marital status has come into question. Naidu and Makado's family agree that the two were as good as married when he died, and she should be recognized as his spouse. However, Home Affairs opposed this, insisting that she be declared the permanent opposite sex life partner instead. Specialist family lawyer Beverly Clark explains what the implications of this are. What our courts have done is they have said that the word spouse in intestate succession act and the Maintenance of Surviving Spouses Act must be in there to include a permanent life partner who also undertaken the reciprocal duties of support to each other during the duration of their relationship. Clark said this only applies in the event of death, as the permanent life partner Naidu will now be appointed executor of Makado's estate. Exactly 30 minutes now after 9 a.m. Let's cross over to the war in the Ukraine. 5 blasts were heard in the city of Kherson early on Wednesday, Russian media reported, adding that according to the unofficial information, air defense systems were launched. Kherson, the administrative center of the broader Kherson region, was one of the first cities to fall to the Russian forces after they launched their invasion of the Ukraine in February. Earlier on this morning, Ivan Fedorov, the exiled mayor of the Russian-controlled Melitopol in the south of Zaporozhye region, said that the Telegram messaging app that there was a powerful explosion in the city. This was not yet able to be verified, but as we speak, it's a developing story. More to come as we find out more and give it to you as it is radio according to you. Still in politics, Action SA has launched a consultative process with Gauteng residents regarding possible future coalitions. However, Action SA president and founder Herman Mashaba remains adamant that they won't work with the ANC. Mashaba has left the DA due to secret meetings. The party had with the ANC. I have always been on a mission to democratically remove the ANC from power, Herman Mashaba said. He said, I made it clear before the IEC finalized the results that I will not work with the ANC over my dead body. So Mashaba added that he started the People's Dialogue because he wanted to engage South Africans on the type of country they want and the things that they aspire to. So Mashaba said he believed that the DA was to blame for the collapse in the City of Johannesburg coalition, accusing the party of arrogance and dishonesty. thereby then bringing it to what it is now, which is some kind of a mess as the ANC gained traction again within the city of Johannesburg, and that Action SA is seemingly going back to the drawing board. Power has been restored to most parts of Durban. On Tuesday night, yesterday, about half the city was plunged into darkness following a major disruption in the Cloudwater substation. eThekwini's head of electricity, Maxwell Mthembu, said what happened is that we had a flashover that took over our Cloudwater substation, and it took one line down. It caused a big bang and something that looked like a fire. We're still investigating the cause of the falling down. And that's a very big power station. So I know exactly which one that is. And it's not the first time that has happened either. So maybe the infrastructure needs to be looked at. Who knows? The general manager of the ANC, Phoebe Potgieter, who could be on the line to be the Secretary General position, says the suspension of Ace Magashule and the death of former Deputy Secretary General J.C. Juwad has had an impact on the party. Although ANC General Manager Phoebe Potgieter would not be drawn on whether she was open to serving the party as a member of the top six, she says she did say the party would have to hold discussions during their conference. The ANC Treasurer General, Paul Mashatile, is currently occupying 3 positions in the top 6. In addition to Treasurer General, he has been acting as Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General. This is the first time in the history of the ANC's 111 years that we have had this difficulty in the Secretary General's office, because before the Deputy Secretary General, J.C. Juwad, passed away, she was not well for quite a long period, so it definitely had an impact on the party. 26 minutes now before 10 a.m. The 21-year-old suspect on Sunday, after the gruesome discovery of 6 bodies believed to be of sex workers at a building in Johannesburg, is expected to appear in the magistrate's court on Tuesday. Well, on next week, Tuesday. He is charged with 6 counts of murder, which are still under investigation by the Gauteng Murder and Robbery Unit. In addition, the father of the 21-year-old, wearing a motorbike helmet to conceal his identity, expressed his shock. He said, "I want to disown him. I don't want anything to attach me to him because anybody of that character is far away from me. If his son is found guilty of the heinous crime he was accused of, the father has said he should account for his actions. Everybody is responsible for their own deeds. I cannot be punished for my father's deeds, neither can my father be punished for mine. 21 is old enough to decide what and what not to do." Going to entertainment, Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, is the father of 2 boys. His eldest, Marquise Jackson, took to Instagram to slam his estranged father. In a post on Monday, on the 10th of October, Marquise said he was offering his father $6,700, which is about 120,000 Rand or so, to spend 24 hours with him. According to a Hollywood Life magazine, Marquise Jackson was born in 1997. In 2017, Marquise alleged that his father wasn't really around enough. Addressing his relationship with his father on Instagram, Marquise said that child support 50 Cent gave his mother was not enough for them to survive. $6,700 a month in New York City, you could do the math. You're talking about someone that has problems with everybody. You just can't live in a neighborhood, in any neighborhood. 81K is not a substantial amount of money. You can't just live anywhere, Marquise said. So, taking to Instagram, the 25-year-old offered to pay his dad 120,000 Rand to spend a day with him. Red, yellow, green, whatever color he likes. He said, "Since you all think it's so much money, tell my pops I'll pay him 6,700 for just 24 hours of his time so we can do everything I ever wanted to do with him as a kid." Yikes. Listen, that relationship got really bad at some point, and it seems the 2 of them still haven't worked out whatever it is that is at the core of those challenges. 24 minutes now before 10 a.m., and let's check out what's happening further afield in our beautiful but sometimes troubled continent of Africa. When Wuri Bailo Keita's 2-year-old daughter Fatoumata developed a fever, he took her to a hospital where she was diagnosed with malaria and sent home with a prescription for paracetamol syrup. Less than a week later, she was dead. The infant is just one of 69 Gambian children to die from acute kidney failure since July in a series of cases that linked the Indian-made cough syrups. The widening scandal has highlighted flaws in the tiny West African nation's health system, in turn raising questions about the potential loopholes in world pharmaceutical trade. She could not eat anything and she was oozing blood from her mouth and nose, Keita said. President Adama Barrow made the nation a national address on Saturday after police launched an inquiry into the health authorities who were told to suspend an import license from the suspected company. Barrow had also promised to update the drug-related laws and praised the work of the health ministry in preventing further deaths. But fear and anger are mounting, and the death toll is still rising. We want justice for these children, they say. Social media has been swamped by criticism of the healthcare system and by photos of the children who have died, most of whom were aged under 5. If they don't, then and other Serbs enter the country, it will be terrible. So they have cited E. coli bacteria as a possible cause of the deaths. India's health ministry said later that tomorrow it will be informed of the World Health Organization's findings about what was the lab results of the testing that was done on this syrup. On that note, we'll take it right there, hold it right there, and keep it for you there. 22 minutes before 10 a.m. This is Moment of Truth, Ikamango Trusenz, and that was your moment in current affairs.
From the states of Africa, we've got you covered.